Elon Musk made ripples recently by, it was reported that he bought 9.5% of Twitter. A day later, it was confirmed that Elon Musk was going to be joining Twitter's board of directors. I think a couple of years ago, we probably would have not made too much of this, but recently, Musk has been pretty vocal in support of free speech, pretty critical of lefty stuff recently. He's referred to himself as a free speech absolutist. He said that free speech is essential for a functioning democracy and criticized Twitter specifically for failing to adhere to free speech principles. Jim, I'm going to start with you. What was your reaction to this news?
I thought it was fantastic news. I mean, especially, I thought it was even more fantastic the more crazed the left got about the entire prospect, right? Because as you mentioned, Elon Musk is a free speech absolutist. He didn't just buy 10% of Twitter, and he actually didn't do it overnight. This was, what I read somewhere, it was kind of slowly he was building his stake in Twitter, and then kind of just went over the 10%, became the largest stakeholder, and then or shareholder, and then of course he was appointed to the board of directors. And so, so this is described by the left as some kind of threat now, right? Threat to democracy or threat or something. I think there was a tweet out there from some, prominent leftist journalist saying something to the effect that, it's not really cool to have oligarchs in charge of our important media outlets in this country or free speech outlets in this country. Like, excuse me, did you say that when Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post as his basically personal newsletter for the world? I mean, that's right. Oligarchy. So it's not good for Elon Musk to have a stake, a large stake in Twitter, but it's okay for Jeff Bezos to own the entirety of the Washington Post as his own personal, messaging playground. And again, the reason Elon Musk is a threat is because he is one of the few people prominent in this country in both wealth and influence who is not a hardcore leftist, who is not interested in shaping the government to do his bidding, or like he's really against. This is what's really unique about Elon Musk. For the most part, he is against this nexus of government and business coming together to basically drive the culture in a way that the people wouldn't go on their own. He's not interested in that kind of global transformation. He's interested in freedom and free speech and advancing people voluntarily. And so that's why he's such a big threat, because he's not interested in censorship. I'm sure he was triggered partly to buy this much of Twitter because of, the whole Hunter Biden story, that, it was banned from social media. As we learn now, the whole Hunter Biden laptop was real. It was not Russian disinformation. It was real. And it was important for people to know this before the election. But of course, Twitter and Facebook and all of the media controlled by people like Jeff Bezos, banned the story from ever being broadcast or talked about or shared anywhere on social media. And so, he's a threat to that sort of thing, to the ability and the desire of the rich and powerful in this country to control thought.
Yeah, I've got an article here. It's an NBC News article that I think I might just label as like the most embarrassing article of the week. I think we should start doing that as a recurring segment. It is titled "Elon Musk's joining Twitter's board of directors should sound alarm bells," and it was originally titled, and you could see this if you go to like the URL. The original title of this was "Elon Musk gave us disturbing hints of what he'd do on Twitter's board." So they changed the title a little bit, but either one is super embarrassing. But this is just further evidence of what, Jim, you started off this with, of it riling up the left. The article basically talks about how Elon Musk has acted irresponsibly on Twitter in the past, making statements about how some statement about Tesla funding that resulted in the SEC accusing him of misleading the markets, to spreading COVID misinformation. In fact, he even shared an anti-vax meme. Stop the presses, everybody. I know. The author then goes to talk about so-called free speech and how it could have deadly consequences, and points to Trump tweet that the author claims has been interpreted by some as instigating the January 6th riots. The author goes on to say, there is also reason for us to question Musk's commitment to the greater public good more broadly. In response to criticism that he hasn't paid his fair share in taxes, he tweeted in November, "Much is made lately of unrealized gains being a means of tax avoidance. So I propose selling 10% of my Tesla stock. Do you support this?" And he added a yes-no poll. Oh my gosh, people. He also publicly questioned the value of contributing to the World Food Program to fight hunger, leading one expert to liken his behavior to that of a troll. So all of this is being presented to us as some evidence that he shouldn't be allowed to own stock in Twitter and be on their board. Like, is this crazy? Are we in clown world here, Justin?
Yeah, but you knew that.
We've been there
in
for a
clown
while.
world for a long time. If anything, this is a sort of a step away from clown world into what should be common sense. I've been saying for a long time that, look, Elon Musk is not, I wouldn't say he's a conservative. I would say he doesn't really care about politics all that much. He has certain ideas that he holds and he embraces those things and he often acts on them. And this is an example of that. He believes in free speech. Whatever he believes about other things, I don't necessarily know, but he believes in free speech. And he's saying, look, I'm going to live that out. I've got the money to do this. I'm going to try to do something positive in this realm. He's actually floated ideas out like this for a while. He once floated out an idea out about making his own social media company. He's been talking about potentially doing something about this free speech censorship issue for a while. So, I mean, it's not totally out of the blue that we're finding out about this. It sort of makes sense. But I've been saying for a long time that one of the most frustrating things from my perspective has been that I don't see people with lots of money who do believe in these sort of core values that everybody who's a conservative, the vast majority of conservatives believe in, going out and actually putting their money where their mouth is and doing something like this. And we rarely see that happen. We see them spend money on campaigns and do stuff like that. But a lot of them won't give money to the causes that they say they believe in. And this is an example of somebody actually taking that step. We see people on the left all the time throw massive amounts of money into causes that they believe in. But people on the right, even if it's just talking about a single issue. So on this issue of free speech, Elon Musk is on the right. He actually going out and doing that. But how often do we see other conservatives do that? Almost never on this issue.
Right.
So seeing Elon Musk, who again is not really political, but seeing Elon Musk, a champion of free speech, actually go out and do something, hopefully won't be the last time that he and other people with that kind of money who agree with with us on free speech do something like this, because this is the only way. It can't just be Elon Musk buying 10% of one social media company. That's not going to save us. We need lots of people with money. Look, if I had $275 billion like Elon Musk, I'd go out and do this too. We need more people with money who do that. And I know everybody here on this show would do the same thing. We need more people who actually do have the means to go out and do this sort of thing. Otherwise, it doesn't matter, right? So this is a great first step. I like it. I hope it triggers a series of inspires other really wealthy people who share our values to go out and
I heard
do that.
I heard MySpace is going for like $25.60.
It sounds like a really good project for the Heartland Institute.
We might be able to pool some money.
We might be able to buy MySpace. Good.
So the author ends off the article saying, as we head into another presidential election, which is like 2.5 years from now. I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, we are heading there, technically, I guess, always. So.
And are seeing the spread of another COVID subvariant. It's more important than ever to ensure that social media doesn't continue to promote violence or misinformation. It's astounding that Twitter would call on someone like Musk to help oversee a company that urgently needs to crack down on the very kinds of bad behavior that he himself has been responsible for on its platform.
He did.
So, Chris,
they didn't call on him. Did they?
No, yeah, they're like,
he just bought the stock,
right?
They probably didn't want him.
Right.
Would be my guess.
Like the idea of just making sure that there's not. It seems like that statement is going a little bit further than just making sure people don't like egregiously abuse the concept of free speech. It seems like this author is calling for further, censorship and all of that. What do you think, Chris?
Well, perhaps he's worried that what Twitter did in the lead up to the 2020 election, in which they buried the Hunter laptop story, is no longer going to be the status quo in 2024 if Elon Musk does actually break some changes through over at Twitter. I agree with what Justin and Jim said. I do think this is a good first step. I hope that it leads to more of this. you know, Twitter is it's like the societal filter nowadays. So if Twitter, you know, just like goes out of their way to stifle a story, it can't reach, you know, society. So I think until, you know, Twitter is an open forum as it was supposed to be, you know, we're going to just constantly be knocking at this problem. I hope this is the beginning of a you know, new trend.